Hey guys, welcome to EuroLeague Fantasy Talks. In this episode we will go through BasketNews EuroLeague Fantasy and how to best grow your budget there in round 5 specifically in this episode. And as you can see here, it's my team from the last round, and I grew the budget by 857k with 162 fantasy points performance. And my budget is already at 74th largest budget in the whole league, the whole game, even if I started on round 2. So in round 4, this is how much each player got us. Hernangomez and Venzenkov 70k towards our budget. Theo Maledon with the crazy performance 170k. And Gedraitis is also very good with 142k. So let's continue growing. And this is the minimum fantasy points required around for the price not to drop. So how many fantasy points each of my players in my team need to score. Hernangomez, for example, needs to score -4, actually, or below -4 for his price to drop. So if he scores -4, his price still stays the same. And in Maledon's case, even if he gets -24 fantasy points, his price still stays the same. So which means that, even with 0 fantasy points or 5 fantasy points, his price is just deemed to grow. So that's very good. Most of the players are good to keep. Rivero also, he should get more than 2.4, so he shouldn't drop the price. Same for Vezenkov and Sabin Lee. But I will trade some of these guys. I actually will keep Vezenkov because I believe that obviously he has the MVP caliber. Therefore we will keep him, but I will trade Rivera and Sabin Lee. Also I will trade Njaya even if he has good stats, but his price is not so much. So I'll get a bit more expensive guy with also good stats for that guy to give us even more money per round. So this is my team, and now we have to sell. As I said, I will sell Rivero, Njaya, and Sabin Lee. Sabin Lee, he could, of course, have a crazy game, but Žalgiris have good defense, and we're playing at home Žalgiris, so for Sabin Lee, I'm trying to go for a better data-proven pick here. So for the center, I will pick Neil Sako, of course. Neil Sako has to get -26 for his price to actually drop. So even if he gets -25 fantasy points, his price will still grow. And of course, against Barca is not an easy game. He might get less than usual average points for him, but still, he's a very athletic guy and he gets those rebounds. And yeah, he's especially in Asvel team, he's quite dominating so far, so we pick him. He's the player with the best stats at the moment in the game for price growing. For my forward, I will go with a bit unusual pick. I will go with Levi Randolph from Maccabi Tel Aviv. He is the Maccabi player with the most minutes average per game so far this season, with 30 minutes per game. And he has better stats than Njaya, and even with -8 fantasy points, his price will still continue to grow. So we pick him, and he recently been getting some better performances lately. He might get you even some fantasy points. And as my last player, as a guard, I pick Sterling Brown from Partizan Belgrade. So the data shows that I should pick Sterling Brown over Sabin Lee because he has better stats, and especially in the last couple of games, the guy with the most shots in Partizan. And he plays second most minutes in Partizan, only after Bonga, and it's also about 30 minutes. I only need to hope that Sabin Lee wouldn't go crazy in the next game against Žalgiris, so that my pick becomes worthwhile. But yeah, we keep Sterling Brown, and he's there to stay and to grow our budget. He's also a good player to have for the turn 1, which is the Wednesday game, again Partizan versus Virtus. So that's my team now saved and ready to go for the round 5. And let's go check some other players that also are good to pick for you guys. So I have a few lists here of different positions with minimum fantasy points required in round 5 for the price not to drop. And it basically shows what is the minimum amount of fantasy points that the player needs to get for this price not to drop. So if it's minus, it means even with -7, for example, Mohamed Diouf price will not drop, which means that the lower the number in this case, the higher odds are for the player to grow the price next round. This is for round 5, of course, and this is forwards. So Janten, for example, even with -10, his price will not drop. And Banjasi just needs to get, even with 0, his price would still grow. Of course, not so much, but hopefully he gets more PR, and the price will only be adjusted, of course, if the players play at least 1 second in that round. In this particular round, it's round 5. So of course we have to play. If the player is injured, don't pick those guys, because they will not neither increase nor decrease the price if we don't go on the court. And this is guards. There is most guards, as you see, for the price growing, because I put all the players that are in VAF minus in this column, so we can get even below 0 to increase your price. So even if we get 0, we should still increase your budget. So obviously Kedraitis and Maledon being the best, McKissick following, and Sterling Brown needs -10 as we already picked him, and some other good players. The worst player is Wade Baldwin, by the way. He needs to get like 37 PAR for his price not to drop, or actually 38 fantasy points for his price not to drop. So imagine how bad it is. So he's just deemed to lose price, so I definitely recommend not picking Wade Baldwin if you don't want to reduce your budget. For example, for the round 4, I didn't make a video as it was very short between round 3 and 4 in a double week of EuroLeague, and the next week is again a double week in EuroLeague. So I might again just post a video for round 6, and for round 7 I might not be able to make the video. But then what I did last week, I made a post on my Instagram account with the data that I'm showing here actually. The amount of fantasy points minimum required not to drop in price for certain players. So I posted all those players on my Instagram account, EuroLeague Fantasy Talks. So just check that out. If there is no video, I should make a post and provide the data there. Otherwise, when there is a video, there will be no posts about the data. You can find all the information in the videos. That's all, guys. For more content on EuroLeague Fantasy, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.